skipper, I want to put it on record again. Right?
Mhm.
I really thank you for coming, especially tonight. All the best for your birthday. Thanks for being here. And I make a promise to somebody now, right? Tonight. Well,
Hear this one now.
yeah, no, well, my girl, she says, so what do you see tonight? Well, you know, WhatsApp was down, all them kind of work on now, boy.
Yeah.
So all the
You
communication.
want to get
was cut, I
brownie points?
no, well, here what happened now, boy, right?
Come now, please.
So she said, I said, girl, at the podcast night, we interviewing Kenwyne Jones. She said, serious? You had a real busy night tonight? She said, I'd always like you when I was in secondary school. Well, I really too surprised by that, because she like them kind of big, strong Negroes. I know what she seeing me. So anyhow, I say, I will tell him. She said, thanks. So, right? I keep my promise there.
Tell him.
Right?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I make sure I tell him. And I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. I tell you, I dream about this. Like, all kind of thing. I tell you,
We'll say you're keeping this in the editor. You're keeping this in the editor, this part.
Watch me. He's out of this because the thing that's playing in the place, he doesn't want to. I have no shame. Like, when I say something, I hold it. I don't hide from saying it.
Before you finish, we had to step out and come back in.
You see that?
I'm just asking.
Yeah.
That's about right.
Fire.
Take some licks. I feel up talk to you yesterday. Take some
This
licks.
is the time to do. So I just asked the question just in case.
Let me ask you something. That's all. Let me put it down like this, right? These two men here, them as far as you are family man and thing, right? As a national, as a patriot, so I go in wherever distance you wait, right? So when you ready to cut, if it's one man going to be here, going to be me, right?
Super status, but you got bad shit.
You understand? You see my badger.
No, but it is one thing, Kenwyne. You see, Mark and Swade, that's the two men who I call on to tell him about Trinidad football.
Let me put something out there, right? And you'll get discussion back, right?
Yeah.
It was my perception as a fan that your game changed after that injury in the England game. How much would you agree with that? And could you tell us how your game kind of evolved during your professional career? Because one of the questions that we got asked today was why you retire so soon, and you just basically said injury. So you could touch on all them things one time.
It changed for a lot of reasons. Injury, one, and not being able to be yourself again. Two, that was a very crucial period for myself. When I got injured in a game, I mean, it's a game, football game for me, but in the reality, it didn't really mean a lot, and missing the chance to go Liverpool.
Yeah. See that.
Was huge. It was devastating, the entire process. And when I say that, everything was already discussed and going to happen.
Here we go.
Right? Once the transfer window had opened. Now remember, we played this game early June. Transfer window open again. And July.
I guess so vexing that. Oh, the Trinidad injury, everything.
Well, that's the other
thing. I was in the stadium. I see them, right? I see when you went down. All right, no seed. And I used to download games after now. So when I went home, I watched the game as a fan, watching the tactics. I see the man take some fireball, luggage tape, putting it around your knee and pouring water. I see it, nothing, and I get vexed.
So it got me a little disenchanted with Trinidad and Tobago a little bit, because I got injured, came off, walk around the track, and this time, before I really go into in-depth how bad the injury was, walk around the track, got to the dressing room. I was in tears in the dressing room because I know what was supposed to be coming next. And again, if people, watching the game after, the first person that ran to me was Steven Gerrard.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's UG, yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So he was asking if all right, blah, 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 but obviously knowing what was supposed to take place.
Right.
Then, while in the dressing room, there with the kit man, not even a medical person.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I saw her like hell. I'm telling you, a big man are crying because, like I say, I know what's supposed to happen. Then the general secretary at that time came in the dressing room and didn't even say, well, shit, hard luck for your injury. How you feel? You know, that type of thing. He started to argue with the kit man why England in white pants and we're playing in white pants too. Right?
Yeah.
And then it changed my perception of life and the things that you could get out of the game and wherever you involved as well. Then proceeded to the diagnosing of the injury. I went to the San Fernando Medical Associates, I think, did the scan, and the doctor who did the scan come and tell me, you know, you look like you have an old injury there, so you'll probably be out for like 6 weeks. I was like, 6 weeks? Hope. I was like, yeah, well, all right. If it's 6 weeks, bam, things could still take place.
Yeah, you good by August.
Going back to England, brother, and, you know, I did my scan over there. And after the scan, coming out of the room, the head physio at the time, when he see me, he literally started to cry. My hands on the head and thing and started crying was like, because I given him all the diagnosis and stuff that they gave me from here. So when I came and he see me, he was like this, literally, and he started to cry because I had a grade 3 ACL tear. I had a grade 3 PCL tear. I had grade 3, which is the highest level. Grade 3 medial ligament damage.
That whole mess up.
I also had lateral LCL damage. I also had bone bruising, and of course, piece of my cartilage was torn, hanging as well. You know what I mean? So I was literally supposed to be out for like 9 months, but you know, thank God for His grace and also the good Southern genes. I came back in 6 months, but it literally took me 1 year to the day of the injury to feel normal in my head.
Right.
Yeah,
Right?
of course.
During that time, there was a little bit of a spat where the then special advisor to the TTFA, you know, made a comment about, he, you know, with the club and he checking up on me and all this other stuff. And I had to have a foreign come to my defense in my manager, Roy Keane, saying, well, you know, they're lying. No cover inquire. Now, apart from a few players and a few staff members who I've grown up with, and these players, I mean, not the players, but the staff members, one was a physio, a trainer. He was in the army with my father, and I known them, and you know, a long time. They known me all my life, kind of thing. Apart from those inquiring how I was doing, you know, the country didn't care, the team didn't care, and that basically at that point kind of changed my perception into, you know, a little bit. Yes, I love my country, but I also have to protect myself.
Love yourself.
Of course, and you have to protect your livelihood.
Because that
transactional.
That wasn't just like a little normal ankle injury. It was a serious injury. You know? And then coming back after that, going through the situations, many times you come in not being paid, and you know you're staying in poor months and always fighting. That many times that I used to take money out my pocket when we go in on to different countries, and you know, players, staff had nothing to eat. You know, it had times that I had to go to. We went to competitions. We went to a competition right in Jamaica, and in order when competition was finished, in order to leave the hotel, I had to pay the bill because the federation had no money to pay the bill. You understand?
I cannot think, men come and trade it. You have no tape, you have no water, you water, no Gatorade, nothing. Them kind of shipness.
You know, I used to buy equipment sometimes so that the team would have it. You know, all these type of things. And most of my time, especially in my time being captain for the national team, a lot of people don't know this. So that's why I say, like, for the bigger picture and the things that I was involved in, those are the things that I value the most. Sometimes an hour and a half, 2 hours before the game, I still in negotiations with people from the federation about the simplest things, even, you know, giving us the allotted tickets that we agreed upon, because at last it's a change of mind. Always trying to fight for players to get, you know, part of their money or all their money, because men are
to Trinidad football.
You understand what I'm
fight to get a pay.
So a lot of times during my tenure, the rest that I would require when I come to play games, I'm not getting it, because I have from sometimes coach to cleaner knocking my door. Boy, we had to call somebody, and being the most notable player in the team.
Yeah, that responsibility fall on you.
I'm the one who had to talk to the federation. I'm the one who had to talk to government ministers. When the radio call in, they call in my phone. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So I had to deal with all of that before I could have even really study football.
That's why I don't have no time to study no big belly man talking about.
Yeah.
No, that is why.
Guys,
that is why again,
the
the people who have their opinions, you know, it never used to sway me, because the way that I was involved and the things that I had to do, it bigger than them. And at the end,
for sure.
Like I always say that unless with people, I don't get into football discussions with people, with anybody. Because if you're starting to talk football with me and you want to query maybe you on my level and whatever, I am not a person that is boastful. But then I will have to investigate you, and then we'll have to take it according to your level.
Exactly.
So if you could tell me you represent the country at national youth level, all right, we could talk about that and talk about that only. If you played for your school and you're in intercol, we could talk about that and that only. You can't go beyond that, because it have different levels to it. And if you weren't on that level, at no point in time you can criticize. You understand? I had an experience in England once where a pre-season again, and it had this fan criticizing players during pre-season. And that's the time you're trying to get fit and whatnot, and bashing. And the manager at the time of the team, he stopped the game. He called the equipment man and said, listen, your market and some boots and give it to the fan.
Which manager is this?
I don't want to get out of it. You know, me and him had some run-ins, but he gave it to the fan and say, well, all right, you're criticizing, well, come out there and do better.
Come on, sweat, yeah.
He didn't even last 2 minutes. After that experience, that fan never criticized another footballer again ever in his life. Because at the end of the day, we have a culture here in Trinidad and Tobago where the mason like to tell the carpenter how to do his job. The carpenter like to tell him how to do his job, and he knows it better than him.
Today, to
do everything. So there is no respect for someone's profession and their ability to do their profession.
I brought up a man today self for that.
But
I believe Jose Mourinho went on a rant about this, sir.
No, but
respect.
That's what we do. But at the end of the day, I let people talk. You have your preferences. You like oranges. I like pineapples.
Yeah.
That's just it. Yeah, and whether or not you like me,
okay. Now I'm very big.
You not liking me, I still did what I had to do, got where I got to, and you know, your life change what my life turned out to be.
Is why they continue with the other questions, like the lighter.
Yeah, well, all right. Well, I mean, these was the request, so we following through the promises.
Yeah,
right?
sure, no problem.
Hey, bro. All everything you said, The man had things to do.
Yeah, I know. As I say, Skip, when you ready, you say you're ready. You're done, right?
Yeah, go through.
So,
Man.
a man want to know what you would think is your best individual performance, right? I guess he meaning like the game that you always look back on, like, way boy, that was fire.
I don't have one of those.
You don't have one of those?
I don't single out any game.
Not because you for Sunderland, boy.
They could
When they were give the flip.
they have many games.
Mm-hmm. You can't pick out one.
I can't single out one and say, well, oh, that game. No.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best moments for me, or I could say best moments, was, scoring at Wembley to get to the FA Cup final and playing in a FA Cup final at Wembley. Bolton, we beat them 5-0. Right? But it was special for me because, like I say, football was never my first love. Right? I love it, but it wasn't my first love. And I was able to take my family's legacy to the extreme. Right? Like I say, my dad played, my uncle played, other uncles that played. And their real dream was to be the one. You know what I'm saying? And they never had the opportunity to play in Wembley or to make it to the World Cup. And I had the opportunity to do that. And I had the opportunity where they could have gotten to see that. Yeah. So that backdrop there is what is the most important part for me, rather than the actual scoring of the goal, getting them to see at least their legacy being fulfilled in a lot of regards.
Wow. All right. So what would you say, as our next question, was your favorite period? That was Rob asked that question. Right. Was your favorite period of your playing career?
Like again, I say,
you can't pick a point.
I can't do that because when I was at Southampton, that was that was the beginning period for me. That first few years was the beginning period. I enjoyed that a hell of a lot because of the experiences. Then moving on to Sunderland, again, a different stage of my life, a bit more maturity. I enjoyed, most of the time there. Then I moved to Stoke. Enjoyed most of the time there, but I also had some experiences that.
Yeah, well, I want to ask also of that.
So I don't have a.
I was preaching mental health before mental health was popular to talk about it, but I realize that.
I value all those experiences because they came at different times of my life personally, and I mean it had a lot of ups and downs that helped me to learn a lot of lessons in life, which was much more important to me than the thing itself, because at the end of the day, you come and go in football. Look how easy 20 years passed. I was just 17 the other day. You know what I mean? And now I'm about to be 37.
You just make me feel real old, yes? Because I remember, I was on this side in CIC grounds watching you play.
We was watching this man.
And that means I watched the whole scene. I watched where, you had a stretch of games where man was comparing it to Drogba and thing. I remember that too. and then every weekend he's saying Kenwyne flipping.
It had all of that, but like I say,
20 years, yes.
In all the moments in there, for me, very important and very, 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 very valuable. So I regard the entirety of that as my best moment.
Right. So a man like you want to get a direct bacchanal question, right? So you can't say who. Man want to know what your favorite place to live is.
I can't say
all the places, okay. All the places where you live.
I'm not giving you the outlet. I'm not giving you the outlet to say home. You know home is home. Right?
You can't say home.
You can't say home because that's too easy.
Then I don't.
There's an international question here.
I think the person asking this is a Canadian or something. So I think
it's an international question here, so you can't say home.
I mean, two places, maybe Atlanta and Southampton, I would put up there.
All right. So I guess that answered this next question here, because I want to know if you prefer Abu Dhabi or Atlanta. So Atlanta win.
They're on the same level for different reasons.
Mm-hmm. You could go into them reasons, so let me hear them.
I think Abu Dhabi or Dubai or the UAE is like a theme park in a lot of regards. Everything over the top.
Yeah.
Every attraction you want in the world, it is there. But Atlanta, and I have no qualms in saying this, as a black city in America, is good to be amongst, black people and
People you could relate to.
with the vibrancy that they have. I mean, you have some Caribbean flavors in there, which is good. But at the same time, I've always said in my life, I mean, I'm not a big, and this is no disrespect to them, I'm not a big fan of America, but two places that I could live is Atlanta or Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of the Caribbean injection that it have in those places.
All right.
But I visited Toronto, and if that person Canadian, Toronto, real nice too. All
right. So,
46.
a Sunderland fan request this. The man want to know what you regard as your favorite or your most memorable Sunderland goal.
My most memorable will always be my home debut for Sunderland against. Yeah, I had an assist in that game and also scored, and we won the game. We had other moments. I mean, we went away to Old Trafford. We went away to the Liverpools. I mean, obviously it's the Premiership and we played everybody, but even
John Terry Freed,
Arsenal and that type of thing, and all of those was good, really great moments. But I will always regard the debut as the most memorable.
Who's Sunderland biggest? Who's Sunderland rivalry? Like local?
Newcastle. Yeah.
As a serious.
Yeah, that's watch that.
Newcastle fans real serious too, though.
Yes.
That's fine.
They're not celebrating when they get relegated. When Sunderland get relegated, all kind of thing. Real bacchanal.
It's so across the board.
Real bacchanal. So, with all those experiences, who would you say was your most difficult opponent that you faced?
I think the people that were most difficult are the ones that don't have the recognition and the name. So when you would go to so-called lower teams, so you'll go to a West Brom, you'll go to a Wolves, you'll go to a Blackburn, you will find people in there that avoid most of the limelight, and they are, as they would say, grafters, they grimy. Yeah. Those are the ones that will stand in the back of your ankle. And you will literally have a war with them people, every game, because they're fighting for scraps. You're fighting to come off the bottom of the barrel type of way.
Right,
those are the ones that were most difficult. I mean, when you get to the more known teams and known players, you're going to play John Terry. You know what John Terry giving. John Terry don't really know what you giving, but you know what John Terry giving. So you would be more
advantage
for them rather than it being for you type of thing.
Yeah. So I want to. I don't know if you might want to break hearts like this, right?
I'll go through.
The best teammate that you play with, both from Trinidad and Tobago and internationally in your club career.
Yeah.
Wow.
Don't do the man like this.
Give me a local one. All right, give me an international one so you can't have no feelings here, because I mean, I skip for you had to big up everybody. Aye. Yes, so we working so hard for everybody. Yes, so we working so hard for everybody, but the questions now.
No, but you see, the thing is, with teammates, I built a lot of relationships with people personally.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you find that off the pitch, you have really good friendships and whatever, but on the field, it like everybody doing what they're supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a lot of good connections with a lot of people: Darren Bent, Anton Ferdinand, Steve Malbranc, Dean Whitehead.
Again.
Full boss.
James BT. Ricardo Fuller.
Ricardo Fuller.
Yeah, that's my brethren for life.
Yeah.
Like I say, I come up with the Graham Lassos. I come up. I played a Crouch at Southampton before we. Again, international players, Klaus Lundig, Vam.
You can't pick one. You really can't pick one.
Same, you know.
All right. What do you think was the hardest decision you had to make in football, though?
They had it. No. To retire wasn't hard, you know. To retire wasn't hard at all. The hardest decision was really and truthfully leaving your fate a lot of times in the hands of some professionals. Because, you know, sometimes you think those professionals have your best interests at heart and they have the dollar signs on the end. What's mainly in it for them?
Yeah.
So I've come across quite a few people that, you know, had their interests in hand. So
You talk about agents?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, those were the hardest decisions, but football-wise, there weren't any hard decisions at all.
All right. So when I did literature in school, one of the themes that they used to ask us to explore is attitudes to power and authority, right? Now, Kenwyne Jones, I want to understand how you would describe your attitude to authority, because a few times that you took some stances that it would seem as if you realize that, you know, I need to do this for me, right? And people didn't understand that, and a lot less even agreed with it. So,
it depends on the situations you're talking about.
All right. So, like for example, you told it was why you didn't want to be selected because I believe you submitted a transfer request. I can't remember. It was reported that you submitted a transfer request.
I didn't submit a transfer request.
It was reported that you did.
I as an individual, I'm a person that anywhere that I am, anywhere that I ingrain myself to, I tend to look at that as a family, right? And I know the period you're talking about. I was there. I'm not a person to disrupt a dressing room. I'm more the person that would have everybody, you know, kosher, linking together. Like, you know, that's just my personality. And the incident happened, you know, and I took my stance because no one in authority actually cared. There wasn't even an inquiry of care. I was just penalized when, in a lot of respects, I am much as of a victim as the person whose property was damaged. But that was all a reaction. Again, the events leading after, it was a joke. Now, they are from there, I am from here. Different things mean different things. If you are going to that length to break open my locker, now this is a combination locker. It's not like you're in school and you know you leave your bag open, it's slipping, or you leave something slipping and a man catch you and play a prank. I had a combination locker that was forcibly open for them to do what they had to do, right? Then when I inquired who are the perpetrators, the hierarchy of the club didn't want to even tell me. They just said, you are being punished and these people are on suspended punishment. Suspended punishment. So if they violate again,
then they will get punished.
But I get punished. Now, that situation was so real that I could have even taken it to an extreme because my partner at the time, surname was Abdullah, or was Abdullah at the time. Now, when the incident happened, I had a lot of specific religious organizations right in my house wanting to handle the situation. Understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They wanted to handle the situation. Now, if I was really extreme and wanted to cause a riot in that regard, I could have. But that's not where it went. I dealt with it. But then the overall care by the club actually showed me the true fabric of the club and what people thought. how indispensable you are, what they think of you as a human being. Because like I said, the year after when, you know, people left, manager left, in that year I only played probably like 6 games or 7 games, right? I played the first 5 league games, which I scored in 4 of the league games.
Yeah.
And the 5th one I didn't score, I got taken out of the team after that. Never started a game in the Premier League after that, for that season. I started 2 cup games after that. So that's because they wanted to rest people or whatever the case is. But from the time I didn't score in that game, bam, I got taken out and I never started a game. I wasn't even playing. It had some games I would have come on for a minute. I would even come on at all. And when I'm trying to get, you know, a hearing with some of the hierarchy, if you think that you need to go in a different direction, well, I think, you know, it's best we find a solution and let me go, because I want to play football. I'm going to play here. No, football over there is more business and politics than anything else. It's not just football. So after trying to get a meeting with these people, get a meeting, and mind you, this is the next season after the incident had happened. Nothing, crickets.
Wow.
So it had to get to the point where I say, you know what, I'm not coming in, because I need to sort out my situation. I need to leave here because I'm not being used. Okay, fair to fine. Let me go somewhere where I'm comfortable, because again, I'm still not comfortable in this environment, because I'm still dealing with the same hierarchy of the club who let this situation pass and didn't care. I ended up getting fined again by the club. PFA didn't come to my rescue. They actually didn't really put forward any real effort. So I get fined again. When the incident happened, none of these organizations who talk about kick this out and racism and all of this, and even the PFA, none of them came to my aid. So even after that season, during the season, we used to wear the T-shirts sometimes about that. After that incident, I never put on one of them T-shirts again. Because at the end of the day, you're showing me that you're not about action, because this is a serious incident. There's not somebody shouting something in the stands or there's a
personal violation.
Because I have 0 and 100, right? And I try to maintain 0 all the time. I've done that most of my career. In life, I do that. Try to maintain 0. But if I go to 100, it's a different scenario. And people thought that I went to 100, but I didn't. Because, I mean, like,
to control the narrative.
All of that stuff was building up. I was seeing it going around me, and they won the level of a man will cut a man lace, a man will throw a man T-shirt in the toilet. I was like, you know what, I'm not involved, but if you all involve me, you all should be able to laugh at my jokes. I am not the one. I am not going to cut your laces, hide and cut your laces. I'm not that person. I'm a person, I will throw your shoes in the bin and burn it in front of you. I want you to know that it was me. But you should be able to laugh at my humor. Just the way you getting kicked in the corner at my laces. Cut. Or I have a hole in my boxers. You know what? Laugh that I burn your shoe in front of you. I'm not going and hide. I am not about hiding people. I'm not sneaking around. You understand? And so be it. You know, the funny thing is, you know, that come and happen. I walk in the dressing room, see people surrounded, because I was doing a little extras outside in the field, and I see people surrounding my locker and thing. As soon as I walk in the dressing room, place gets silent. So I was like, well, I peep in my locker. I say, but how my locker open? They break into it. Who did that? Nobody talking. Putting some expletives. Who did that? Nobody talking. Now, the funny thing is, I actually went out to the maintenance shed looking for a sledgehammer, not a brick. All it had was a sledgehammer. I mean, a pile of bricks. I was like, okay, I dust off the brick, and I come back in the dressing room whistling. Ask the question again, who did that? Somebody run, come and tell me, all right, it was this person. I say, okay. I walked out the dressing room whistling. Went to the car park, and funny enough, the person who they said it was, he didn't park his car in his usual spot. Brand new Porsche Panamera, white, nice tan leather seats inside. Well, I do some damage with the car, but I wasn't hiding about it. Fans who will be outside the training ground see me do it. The hierarchy of the club see me do it. I was not hiding. You understand? Right then and there at that moment, nobody asked a question. The coach called me later on and say, well, I just want to make sure it's not a religious thing, and then went away. I had different teammates in the team that called me and say, we're down here because we were supposed to go and play Southampton for the last game of the season. I was like, I'm not comfortable going with this team, going anywhere and playing with anybody.
Yeah.
So I'm not going anyway.
Yeah.
He called and say, they having a jog when they get down there, a little stretch out and things. And it's like, they having a joke about it. So it's not a serious matter for them. You understand? So I look at it as a different light. Oh, so because I'm black then.
Yeah.
If it was me doing that to one of them, on the spot, you would have information being found out, I'd have been penalized. I wait about a couple months to then get a call from someone at the hierarchy of the club just to say, well, you're getting fined. And that was it. Not a school ask a question. How are you doing mentally? We're sorry this happened to you because this is a little bit of an extreme. Like I say, I am from a different place. I'm not from where you're from. So certain things that you do could mean something different to me. You understand? And if you're going to take the time to break open my locker and wrap my clothes over a pig head,
What?
you're saying something different to me.
Say you didn't know?
You
Say you didn't
understand
know?
what I'm saying?
Yeah, no.
That's not a prank. You are telling
No
me
joke thing.
something different. And if you want to look at it lighthearted like that, it means that you have no regard for me at all. So if you're not going to have regard for me, I will reciprocate the attitude. So from then and there, I was mentally out of that place.
It's insanely suspended punishment for
For the perpetrator.
madness.
Well,
That's my
again, I've seen a few of my teammates, ex-teammates, who had interviews on shows, and it sounds like a funny story. I laugh, but at the end of the day, like I say, I'm from a different place. Where you're from,
I think that cool anyway now, bro.
That's what I'm saying. I don't. Where is that? Where is that something to do?
But
Where do you put a pig head on something?
We're from a place where you mash a man's shoe in a dance and it's different. It's different.
No. There's in the Godfather, a horse's head was a threat. There's not a joke thing. There's a threat to kill out your family and thing. What we talking about? Like, nah, that's madness.
Let's say, born out of that incident, I had religious organizations writing me. So if I was absolutely crazy, like some people would try to
push the narrative there.
I could have pushed the narrative there, and then it could have been an entirely different scenario. Because look at let's deal with them people on the world stage. So I mean, come on.
That's madness.
Gentlemen,
Skipper,
listen.
just now we wrapping up, eh?
Yeah,
what next to Kenwyne Jones? What next to Kenwyne Jones?
What next?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. So there's 1 minute. Are we going back in one more time?
No.
What you for?
Get one more time. You can get one more time.
All right.
Right. Before that.
So how much more questions does it have from people?
That was basically it. I put in some because depending on how the conversation went and thing, but the what next question was really supposed to be kind of outro now.
So you add some flavor to it. That's what you just do there. You add some spice.
I mean, when people get it, think the season it a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
So we didn't really touch the softball questions. You understand? I mean, you mentioned your love for AC and everything like that. But in terms of like modeling yourself on any particular style of player, I can't remember if you mentioned anything like that. You just was doing your own thing or what?
No. I had my own ideals. Like I learned the game differently. You know, like I say, from a very young age, I was always amongst people that were very, analytical about football. And I was able to, play with older men from a very young age and, be and get to know football to a lot of different levels. And then, of course, going through the national level and getting experience from international coaches. So it's not that I play like anyone. I play like that myself. I've always done that. So, that's the best I could say on that. I've never tried to be a Dunga or a Desai or a Hullet or, a sing-off. I've never tried that.
Who was your favorite player on East Milan?
Right? George Weah, Leonardo, Uta. You always love Maldini.
Yeah.
Those are the players that you're watching. I mean, you used to see so many fantastic players pass through that Seedorf. I just love the team, and I've always followed the team. But I would say in my older years or more mature years as I was growing up, the player for me that made me fell in love even more with AC Milan is Rui Costa. I used to love Costa style, and funny enough, I don't have a lot of fan moments. I respect people for what they do.
Yeah.
Things that I really love, that I love a lot. I had my fan moments. I had my fan moment with Kevin Hart. I had my fan moment with Sizzler, with Chronic, Damian Marley, quite a few people. Not I took my time and thing, but my biggest fan moment was actually seeing Rui Costa up close.
Right.
Like standing up next to him, shaking his hand. Because in preseason with Sunderland, we had a preseason game against Benfica.
Okay.
And that was actually my first interaction with David Luiz too. And we've also become very, very close to in that way because since then we was having a battle.
Yeah.
All through his career in England. And it was good, that he's one of the persons that, when we play against each other, we smile before the game because we know, you see, today going to be a ruckus.
Yeah.
I going to be tired. He know he going to be tired, but we're going to enjoy the battle.
Yeah.
And after that, at the end of the game, we laugh and everything. But it was really, really, really a fan moment, a big fan moment for me.
Rui Costa.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like I say, I play against Ronaldo, I play against Messi, you name it, the Drogbas. These are people that I play against, but being a fan of AC Milan and seeing
them up close.
Yeah, it was majestic. I won't lie. It was majestic.
That's awesome.
Rui Costa is highly underrated.
Highly underrated, but he's one of the players that, it make me fall in love with AC Milan all over again because I think he was that smooth.
Smooth, yeah.
It's ridiculous, but
low shin pads.
Yeah.
Never rush.
He was the refined version or the attacking version of Pirlo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pirlo wasn't really that defensive, but he was smooth also.
Yeah. One player don't look fast, but just walk past a man, glide past a man, and skip and thing.
Nice it.
He was amazing. It's one of my favorite players, to this very day.
Yeah. Class. Before we go, I'm not sure if we covered it. When did you transition from a defender to a striker?
Yeah.
Well, I was never a defender.
You used to play everywhere.
It was added to my arsenal. Like I was explaining earlier, to get my first introduction, a few games in Intercol.
Yeah, you had to
play right back wherever Grovey put me into play. In school, I mainly played midfield. center midfield, either defensive midfield, central midfielder, or up front. Midfield was my very first position, really. Right. But I was forced to learn, the defensive positions more in depth coming up to the under-17. Like three months before the under-17 World Cup, when René Simoes came in.
Right.
And after that, after I play with the national team, when I go back to school, is midfield up front. When I go to the national team, I'll be playing defense, And I can remember he once said to me, you're like a duck, you don't know what you want, here you're playing defense, because he wanted to see me, play defense, because obviously by that time I've grown into the position and could have been probably one of the best defenders or whatever the case is, whatever his vision was. But I won the glory.
Yeah.
For the goals.
Yeah.
So that is why I stuck to that. And even like, I think 30-something of my 90-odd caps for the senior men's team, I played defensive midfield, I played defense, right wing back, all that kind of thing, So.
Yeah, because they used to call him the utility player now. He's the next man that was so Soapy Mates, no one of them fellas, but they used to push them men all over.
Yeah.
They put them men all over. And
but that was good though. That's for the education of football. That is good, for any player to be able to play multiple positions and understand the game from different positions is important,
So I have three questions, fellas, and then I done, right? All right. So what would you say in your career was the biggest jump in terms of the education of football from a tactical perspective? Like, where did that take off to a different level?
It was building. It was building. All through my career, I got different aspects. I went to England, obviously, and there was a certain style being played there and a certain way of doing things. And then being able to come back home and play for the national team, I would have gone through Bertil Sinclair, I'd have gone through Leo Ben Haka, I'd have gone through Francisco Materana. These are all contrasting styles of tactical information and delivery of football. Then I'd have go through Stephen Hart. And then I'd go back to England, I would have the Mark Hughes, I would have the Roy Keane, the Steve Bruce, I would have had the Eddie Howes, like I said, even coming up against some people. Like, a lot of people don't give Roberto Martinez enough credit because England, hold on.
No, you just are laughing. Continue away here, please.
England, first of all, with Swansea, and Swansea first, he was playing 4-3-3 and was tearing up the leagues. Made his progression into the Premiership, right?
Right.
Other managers wasn't doing that.
Okay.
Then, these days, you're seeing everybody playing 3-4-3. My guy was doing this with Wigan and was proven to be an anomaly for a lot of teams. Yeah. He was doing this with Wigan. You know what I'm telling you? And now, in modern day football, we are seeing where 3-4-3 and 3-5-2, 3-5-2 coming back into play, but 3-4-3
for sure, yeah.
and 5-3-2 at the forefront. And this guy was doing this in England.
I didn't know that.
Was doing this in England in the early part of his managing career.
I'm the big belly man, though. I hate it to the fullest, you know.
And Andre don't deal with that. You don't believe in Roberto.
No. Understand something, right? Football is influenced by what is the word of the day, right? So back in the day, you used to have, of course, yes, with Barcelona and the Johan Cruyff era, you know, he revolutionized with the 4-3-3. Brazil used to revolutionize with the 3-5-2 with the sweeper.
Yeah, for sure.
That was their system. And for the people that followed them, they influenced a lot of football. Yeah. In England, everybody knows standard 4-4-2. That's how they used to go. Now when you watch English football now, what do you
4-2-3-1.
4-2-3-1.
4-2-3-1 everywhere.
3-4-3.
Yeah.
Where you think they're picking it up from foreign managers
Yeah.
and
Conte,
influence
Pep.
that? So you're saying Conte and Pep, but like I tell you, way before
Yeah.
Roberto Martinez
Yeah.
took a chance and introduced his philosophy in football
Right.
in England and changed a lot of people's thinking.
I didn't know that.
All right. So my follow-up is so football has, at least football media has changed to being, it's saturated with a lot of, I don't want to call them nerds, but there's a lot of stats and tactics people, right? Analytics.
It's analytics.
Yeah. So from the outside, there's a perception of there being this huge gulf between an Eddie Howe, what being coached by Eddie Howe is, and then what is being coached by Mark Hughes, right? So is it actually that different from a player's perspective, what the coaching is, what the drills are, stuff like that? Like, is it that recognizable?
What the drills are, I don't think so. The way you are able to figure out the puzzle offensively of how to break, teams down and actually get your team to play that way, to capitalize on that. What sets managers apart, and also the managers that are able to tactically structure their team to nullify an opponent's strengths. Those are the and how effective they do that as well. Of course, that comes with investment and being at the big clubs. But again, what fascinated me the most with Eddie Howe is that you were at a club in the Championship. I came up from League One, small stadium, relatively unknown players, and we're getting them to play in a certain way that, again, for me, it revolutionized my mentality towards English coaches, number one.
True.
And being able to see that from someone, and I guess it's probably because of his age, but getting to see that from someone, training with the intensity and the specifics that he did with his team, that is what influenced me, a lot, to be honest with you.
But I mean, so practically, what does that look like? So is that
analysis, video analysis of a team's actual strength and their patterns. And when I say patterns, not their patterns of play, or they pass to the side, then go into the forward, then go in, go out to the winger. I'm talking about their patterns. 5, 6, 7 games, you will see how much a team, their midfield overloads on one side when the ball is in a specific area. So when that happens now, and you win the ball there, he's showing you where, hey, you know what, I want my right winger, when the ball is over here, to be in this position, so that when we win it, 1-2 passes into him area. It was so direct. And this is on the offensive part of the game. I wasn't seeing him saying, well, we need to set up our entire team to block off this and to be solid and stay here. Yes, there's a threat. He comes in on his left. I want my left back and my closest midfielder, block him off, send him on his right. That right there, nullifying him as a threat throughout the game. But offensively, where there are gaps, he's showing you where to connect the dots, where to be, and to do that aggressively. So that team is going out there with a plan, and bang, bang, bet your bottom dollar. And that year they had a fantastic year. I mean, I came in towards the end, the 6 or 7 weeks, like I said, and just added a different dimension to the team to help them get across the line, because that was somewhere that they weren't before. But it was probably one of my best experiences working under a manager.
Well, I could see that you had the jersey hanging behind there as your favorite one.
Yeah.
Our coach, I could see that with, you see Graham Potter, I could see that a lot with
he's another one, you see, and again, he's doing it with a Brighton team with not so many big names.
Making it work.
So Graham Potter is like Roberto Martinez back in the day.
Okay.
You understand the early parts, and I know you might have objections, But this is how Martinez get to where he is by coming in with that idea. Graham Potter is English. You understand what I'm saying? And you're coming out with something that is not of the British DNA.
So, like Mark Hughes, would it be so like it's discernible that is not what the coaching is about and things like that?
Mark Hughes,
And I'll tell you, hold on, I'll tell you why I'm asking it. I want to actually be honest about why I'm asking it, right? Because there's this perception that like some managers are dinosaurs, right? They just there and they're watching it and just telling you how to defend, and that's all they know. And then the rest of it you have to figure out. So is it really that polar opposite?
It's not a perception. If you look according to data, you would see how many of those old managers still in the game of managing. Because again, like football revolutionized, and some, just like with anything, some people decide to stick to what they know. So even though I bring in a little bit of video analysis and a little bit of sports science and this and that, my philosophy on the game and how I would see my team playing, it would remain the same. The brave ones, again, I will say you will have the Martinez, Graham Potter now, the Eddie Howe's. They introduce themselves in a different way, with a different mindset, a different tactical view on football and what they should be doing. And that got them to certain places and also change the perspective of football. If you look at the English national team, look at what they're doing with the English national team. A different type of football. Back in schools and them days is 4-4-2. Get out of Beckham.
Trying to fit Lampard and Jordan at 4-4-2.
Play it up to the big man. He will knock it down to the small man. You pick up everybody squeeze, tackle hard, this, that, run, graph, this, that. Now the game has changed so tactically. You're looking at England and think that, you know what, they just need one or two people to come of age in order for them to achieve
the potential.
But if you look at the way they play, you could see any one of them players. Two players, I would say, that are all English for me within the squad.
Old English?
Yeah, or traditional English. But apart from that, all the players, they don't play like British players traditionally.
Declan Rice and who, right?
Not even Declan Rice.
The club managers.
Tyrone Mings,
Harry
Maguire.
The two centre backs. Fair enough. No, fair enough. And I mean,
do you see the Chilwells or the Luke Shaws playing like a traditional English defender?
And that wasn't how it was.
And again, in their position, they are successors of the Ashley Cole era, right? Because Ashley Cole then used to play like a traditional
English.
That was Wenger. That was all Wenger.
That boy was good.
So they come down in that mood. I'll give them that. But right back, you had Gary Neville, straight and hard.
Yep.
Gary
Let
Neville.
me not talk about Gary Neville. The next one. The next one on the list.
Yes, give it.
Kyle Walker don't play like him. You don't play like him.
Nobody's play like him.
No, but exactly. So, like
nobody's play like him.
The evolution.
And I'm glad Kenwyne is a Milan fan, so he see all the levels of men that don't play like Gary Neville.
The evolution.
Even Zambrata was levels above.
Zambrata was the boss.
Anyway, but hold on. Anyway. So the last question, I'll take it back to something you was talking about. I was always interested in, so it's a little negative, but so when you get a serious injury or anything like that, is there any sentiment where like you attach any blame to the player involved, or that kind of thing doesn't really enter your mind as a player?
That didn't enter my mind because it wasn't intentional. It was a moment that was supposed to happen, I believe. Through faith or fate, more or less. Because, again, that's why I say everything had to change, because at that time I was real fast.
Yeah.
If you go back, what's that? I breeze Ferdinand out.
Yeah.
And where I met that ball before the keeper come out, it was like everything happened in slow motion for me. So I got to the ball, slap it away.
And
Was about to go on to
move on.
and now come in with the downswing, and it's the downswing that catch my knee. You understand? So
Yeah.
I don't attach him because me and him very good up to this day.
What's your name, James?
David James, David James. Yeah.
It's nothing intentional. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like I harboring any feelings or anything like that. It happened. It's part of the game.
Yeah.
So me as a man sweating, right? I'm bad mind with when a man tackle me bad and I just remember it. I just want to come back and mash him up and things like that. So I was always wondering about pros. When a man
well, no disrespect to you guys and to all the people that sweat. That's the highest level of competition that you're going and play.
Yeah.
I sweat. This was about a month ago. I sweat for the first time in like 3 years because at the end of the day, I can't sweat and enjoy football. You know, well anymore.
You're spoiled.
So,
Your taste get changed.
I mean, when I just retired, I had a couple sweat in Mandela Park, some friends and stuff. But the overall behavior of people when I come there to enjoy, just to some people like if it's the Champions League final, and even somebody attitudes. Now I get the competitive spirit and everything, but some of the attitudes and things, men arguing and things like that. I couldn't deal with it because
I know more sweated.
No, banter different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Understand what was happening there? I was like, you know what? I can't come out and enjoy this.
Yeah.
Man really think it's Champions League now. Like they're really winning something and thing. Yeah, I understand.
It's all I could win. What you could do?
Yeah, like you was winning La Liga for 10 years in a row. I can't deal with it. I played a couple of FET matches and I was always tell them, at the end of the day, if you don't have a beer at the side, I'm not coming to play a FET match.
Yeah, that FET matches are about.
Yeah, it's light.
And think I am coming here to score no goal and to do this. I am coming to enjoy. I will go to you and go and take a sip. That is what I want. That's my main aim. The enjoyment. Because I haven't been able to actually enjoy football
for
a long time.
Yeah.
Because it's just like anything else. A professional career is not what people see on TV. Remember, we are doing the behind the scenes every single day. While you coming out on the culmination of the week, my team went sit down and eat your chips, your chicken, your thing, your this, your that.
I need Kenwyne to score 2 from a fantasy team.
For fantasy points. I need Kenwyne. A man didn't score, boy.
Yeah,
triple captain.
I do the behind the scenes. So to say that I enjoy the game like that, no, the job at hand is that's how the profession is.
Yeah, cool. Did we touch on your UEFA A and B?
Well, you started it. That was the Vex money.
That's nothing big to talk about. At the end of the day, it's like, to be honest, it's like going to school and getting a diploma. In order to become a crane operator, you have to go through
training.
Processes, the training. It's not a big thing.
So on that note, in terms of, have you really a defined path as to what next for Kenwyne Jones, honestly?
Not necessarily. I could end up coaching for a few years and then I went to another business part. I could be doing both simultaneously. Business could come off for it. But especially with young players, I want to be able to do a bit of coaching there because I do feel that I have the capability and the ability to be able to shape their thinking when it comes to football. Like I've been the assistant coach for the under 17 in 2019. I've been the assistant coach or head coach in a lot of regards for QRC back in 2019. I'm now the head coach.
No one asks about that.
I'm now the head coach for QRC. So
because Robbie gone.
I'm just trying to be able to set them up with a structure and a plan so that they become better. Nothing.
You talking mentality or football knowledge and stuff?
Well, mentality and football structure, because at the end of the day, all across the world, development happens when there's a plan in place for everyone to follow. This is not, you can't come out and guess it. Yeah. And what we are failing to understand and come to terms with is that nationally, we need to have a development plan, technical plan, business plan. We need that so that we could follow some type of structure so that we do become better. That is how you continue the conveyor belt of talent throughout the world. You don't go in the middle of the forest and just pick somebody and you go in and be that. No, you go through academy systems. They have technical directors. They have the coaches there, and you go through certain developments through the different periods of your life in order to become the product that you are. We're not doing that. We think that we could go and play with a little small side down in this corner, and then I go jump from here into school league. And the people that coaching in the school don't actually know what they're doing. I jumped to a pro league team just to play some youth pro league, and then you will have no football for months because people put in school above the sport and not giving it the same level of respect. Yeah. Because they use it as the vehicle to get them scholarships, but then they don't respect it when somebody had to put in the hours to train. And that's because, again, culturally, as a society, we're not there, but we want the glory. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We want to see the glory, but we don't want to actually put in the effort and give the leeway for it to happen. But we want
Nobody want to plan the one, but everybody want to read the band.
That's how it is. That's how it is. That's how it is. But hopefully in the future we'll get there. But I just want to be able to do my small part to help somebody, at least follow the right pathway in a lot of respects. I mean, I don't have to have the ultimate plan. Somebody could build on that because that is how things evolve. You start with a little tricycle, then you end up on your little two-wheeler, you end up with a electric bike, you go on motorbike until we are cars, we are plane. That's just how it goes, you know what I'm saying? But just to be able to lay that foundation within the system of the school, I appreciate the opportunity to do that. For the school being able to place the trust in me. And I guess that's after my interview as well. That little stint assistant.
Oh, as the assistant.
It
kind of transformed the team and the school in a way that,
Yeah, she performed real good that year, I remember.
But that's the thing, and that's not having a lot of time, and that's not setting that framework through all the different divisions, so that you then, again, as I talk about that conveyor belt of talent, you will have the younger ones coming up through a system knowing what is required and slowly building the parts out of it. And so when they get to that top level, it becomes easy.
All right.
Sounds great, bro.
That's just my little thing here, because I mean, I was born and met football here, and I'll die and leave it.
Yeah. That's a good way to look at it.
Not mine to hold on to. I could just try and add to the
and make it better while you could.
Yeah.
I mean,
I appreciate that.
The game as a player and now as a coach, I think the game is in great hands, but I think everybody had to put their hands to the pump.
Yeah,
One man can't do it.
Yes.
That is one of my biggest problems with our society, and maybe the world at large. But dealing here, our society is that we have a lot of minds, a lot of know-it-alls on what should happen and how they should be done and who should be doing this. But most of those people tend to speak from the outside and do not actually come to the table and find the best medium and solutions, or actually get their hands dirty and try to make that change. And then also for them is about the glory. Like I always tell people that I know what real celebrity is. I know what real fame. I know what real glory is. So the things that I'm doing, I not doing it for the sake of that. I know what it is. I know what it is to not be able to settle yourself in a public place because people after you, cameras after you, this, that. I know what that is. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't about that for me. Like I say, I came and meet the game and to be able to give back some of my experiences, to be able to help somebody else to go on and achieve their dreams, whatever they are. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
That's true. That's very true.
What I could say, boy, you graced us with your presence.
Yeah, hey.
We bother you. I really bother you to get on. And I really appreciate the humility.
You wanted to see how serious and committed you was.
No, not really, because I mean, at the time, the earliest time, I was busy with a few things, but just, I don't like to, once I make a promise to do something, I follow through with it. I give you the time at a specific time, I'm not going and say yes, and then, when you're looking for my ducking, I can't do that. I make sure and set things out in the timings that I know I'll be available to do.
Really appreciate that.
Because at the end of the day, I mean, I've turned down at least 20 of these a day.
Right.
You
see.
Yes, how you do? Watch, man.
So don't get back to that tank here 20 more times.
No, I've been honest because I mean, like all over my different mediums, social media, I always have a request to somebody starting up a new thing. They want to talk. They want to have an interview, and at the end of the day, what I don't like to do is to water down myself and repeat information too much. You know what I'm saying? Because most of these people that are coming on, you tend to have the generic question.
Right.
Okay, so you will find yourself repeating yourself. This, I did this. And I'm not a person that like to repeat myself too much. So I had to pick and choose what I'm doing when I'm doing it.
I appreciate that.
We appreciate you choosing us, man.
We don't have special Zoom.
Yeah. But Skipper, let me put it on record here.
But let me
we appreciate you choosing us.
It's my pleasure, man. My pleasure.
What's the recommendation, Kenan? What's the other platforms?
I mean, you have Microsoft Teams, you have...
Yeah, that was when you're running. I tell them, man...
You have StreamYard.
Google Meet.
You have
Google Meet. All them things. We talk now.
There are different stuff that you could use, but because, I mean, you had to pay for the unlimited time in this, you know what I'm saying? You had to go there and try and find them mediums to be able to work around your constraints now.
I'm so glad you say that, because, I mean, when we was discussing this, I suggested Google Meet definitely, right? But as a man tell me the other day, he say, boy, you could be ahead of your time, but that still don't mean you're not out of time, you know. So, I take it like that.
I think I kidnapping that one.
Yeah, if you're ahead of your time, that don't mean you're not out of time. So I take it that. Skipper, I want to put it on record again, right? I really thank you for coming, especially tonight. All the best for your birthday. Thanks for being here.
For me personally, I appreciate the being able to be on your platform.
Thank you.
And I do think that for us in this country, at this present time, it's important to have these platforms because at the end of the day, these are the things that add to the industry, the sports industry, being able to, have the podcast and have these shows talking about football because it hopefully, God's willing, it get back to the point that we have football, that shows like yours will be one of the go-tos that, will be able to, give the recap on the game and, the various aspects. And that alone would help to build the industry as well. So it is important for us to, start making strides and taking these chances in having things like this because we are the 21st century as well too,
For sure. Appreciate it. Appreciate it so much, Mr. Kenwyne.
The pleasure.
I don't appreciate when you used to torment us in CIC grounds, but that's another story, another time.
It wasn't personal. It wasn't
All
personal.
CIC men does recap that to know like you're
That
real.
Anthony's team was disgusting.
No, we trying to bust we raza, we trying to get on. Man busting that. Interrupting your ass.
And what you
You can't play
is the
with
shrug?
things.
Is the shoulder shrug? The man just shrugging off man so and man flying so just a roll of his shoulder.
Those were fun times.
I tell you, but it was disgusting. I mean, I get the same feeling. I get the same feeling watching you play. Like I used to have with Henry, right? Henry is a wonderful player to watch when you're not destroying your team. You understand? I just enjoy watch me. I'll be yes, lad. But when you play that against you, it's like, oh gosh, boy.
So I let me close up right now, right? All right.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you for watching Trifactor Podcast. And we want to thank our esteemed guest, Mr. Kenwyne Jones, for coming on. We have a great birthday tomorrow. And
yeah. Hey, you know, Andy birthday is Friday.
God bless.
God bless.
All right, God bless.
That's actually my big brother's birthday as well too.
On Friday? Well, look at that.
Happy birthday to him as well.
Yeah.
Man.
Here the closing remark. So you talk about Roberto Martinez. I'll talk about Serie A. So that's why. So when you watch all that Serie A was always they were doing all that innovations the whole time, right? There's all kind of teams playing 3-5-2, 3-6-1, all kind of things.
That's the football I grew up on.
Yep. Anyway.
All right, Kenwyne. Have a good night, bro. Gentlemen.
Thanks,
Skipper. Thanks again, Skipper.
Much.